Okay, so Smile. Horror movies aren't really our thing, but occasionally you have these good ones, and not just horror movies, but supernatural horror movies. I just can't get into
The
them.
Black Phone was like that too.
Yeah, but that was also different, like this one, where...
Yeah, they're getting better.
Right, it's not like, I don't know, overkill, I guess, but Black Phone, the magic or supernatural wasn't the scary part, that was the part that saved them. In here, it's the scary part.
Yeah, this is more fleshed out too.
Yeah, and I feel like this is like the Joker, where it's kind of like a movie about mental illness, because...
It definitely has that
Right, like...
theme, for sure.
It feeds off trauma.
And the fake smiling thing.
Yeah.
I like that.
Where it said no pain, and it's smiling.
Yeah, and people who are usually under trauma, who need help and don't want to get help, they're the ones that are fake smiling all the time.
Right,
and
exactly.
it's exhausting.
And in here, it also tells you that you're not open up front. You don't take things head on. You build
don't
up
face
walls.
your trauma, you kind of bury it.
Right. It will come back to get you.
And it's like a demon that just feeds off of it. I
Right.
like it. Actually,
It's like a...
probably the closest horror movie we got to where it connects to the masses since like Freddy Krueger and the Dream thing,
Right.
the nightmare. It kind of has the same vibes.
Yeah, it's like a... Because when I was watching this, I was like, wait, what the hell is this thing? A demon or whatever? I like it how they didn't really tell you what it was. But it pretty much is the mental health monster. And
Yeah.
it feeds off your trauma, and it isolates people, and it scares you and all this other
And
stuff.
it can be transferred. Trauma can be transferred.
Right. Trauma can't, yeah. So I did like that. I did like how they made a horror movie out of...
A very important
Trauma.
message that just keeps, a problem that keeps getting worse and worse and ignored more and more in society.
Right. And in here they got a good example of two characters specifically where they're just like, I don't want to make that my problem. And that's her sister and her fiance, where they don't take it seriously. They go, you're crazy, get away from me kind of attitude.
Everyone kind of does that.
Right.
It doesn't take long
Right.
for even the boyfriend to kind of be like, fuck this,
And it makes you wonder why people bottle things up and they don't like to tell anyone any of their problems because they're afraid
Everyone
of being
will
judged and
reject
shutting them off.
Yeah.
Now, there were some things in this movie that was like a little weird to me. Did you cringe when you saw that scene with her and her fiance getting back from, hospital right after the dead cat got pulled out of the shoebox? And they had that conversation in the driveway. I cringed a lot in there just because the fiance dude wasn't really selling it for me. I don't know if it was the actor or what, but that whole scene was really weird to me.
Well, she was bringing it to 11, and he was kind of like, zoinkity doo-dah, kind of felt like...
He was doing this, that when people tell you something and you do this, that's like the worst. That's like saying you're crazy to someone who's freaking out. It's something
especially
you don't
with
say
the actress being, your typical horror chick who's losing her mind. Everyone else is kind of reacting to her losing her mind. Just watching her, she did a great job.
Right.
I've never really seen this actress before. And it's these horror movies that bring out this kind of feeling where you're like...
Your heart's like, I need to match
yeah,
it for
you're
some
exhausting.
reason.
You're sitting still, but you're exhausted. And
Yeah.
she was doing that pretty much, 2/3 through the movie, and it's
Right.
very exhausting. That's one of the reasons why I don't like to watch horror movies.
Yeah.
Because I can't breathe sometimes.
It gets you into that mode, yeah. Also, well, you just mentioned the thing that made me wonder how you would beat this thing. A few things came up to me. I'm like, someone murders that person before they kill themselves. That person kills themselves at their own free will. So it's not
With
traumatic.
no witnesses.
Right. You stand up to it, you kill yourself, or that. Or, like I said, you use anger and confrontation. Don't be scared of it.
To attack your trauma, use anger and confrontation. Get away from me! I don't need your help!
I guess it would be confrontation and, face your fears. That's not so much anger, but you do need a little anger for bravery because you're pissed off at this thing that's mocking you and feeding off your problems. You need some anger, you need some balls, you need to stand up to it and face it.
Which would be, I guess, the counter opposite of trauma. Right?
Trauma and fear and isolation.
It's just control. Control
Yeah.
of your own mind.
Bravery. You need bravery to face your problems head on.
Everyone's had those dreams.
When
where
you
you're
run,
faced with, either it's, I'm going to, pull the eject button, parachute out of that dream.
Right.
Or you go, you know what? And then that thing that was creeping around going, yeah, and
go-
is eventually going, oh, hey, dude, all right, hey, motherfucker, yeah, whoa, what's going on? And it changes to someone nice. You're like,
Right.
oh, all right. Yeah. One more.
Yeah, so instead of running and building up your walls, you attack. You attack it. So I guess that's what I was wanting her to do. I was like,
did it.
face it. She went to her boyfriend and she apologized, but I wanted her to. What she did, she did go, "You're in my head," and she smacked it. But then
Broke his arm.
But then when we went round 2, she just went, yeah, stuck a thumb in her mouth and went inside.
This movie can actually be dissected and analyzed
Right.
to address, like, I can see these actors or the director or something doing some, like, charity stuff, even though they're kind of not exploiting it. But they're kind of exploiting it in a way that it actually, you know, brings the issue to life. Where it is a demon, it is a monster. This thing that goes around from person to person that terrorizes their mental health.
This movie also, like, it has its jump scares in it, but it's not those typical jump scares, because when she opened the fridge door, I was like, here we go. When she closes it, what's going to happen?
I know, I'm always looking at the
Yeah,
back.
and then she closed the door, nothing happened, and then they did something that I wish more people would do, is you see a figure in
Yeah,
the darkness.
they did that a lot.
Especially now where you see it smiling. That's all you need, man.
Yeah.
And another stuff that they do is just shit lurking in the background. Little tiny creaks here and there.
Whispers.
Yeah, whispers. It's not that hard to, like, freak you out. And the thing about people who actually do have mental illness, who hear voices like schizophrenia, that's what they experience on a daily basis.
And it would be extremely hard,
Right.
to get a hold on that.
Right, exactly.
I can see that.
There was a part towards the end where it did kind of lose me. This is kind of a horror movie trope that I'm not a huge fan of. It didn't bother me too much in this movie, where every time a horror movie ends, it doesn't really have a happy ending. Ever. So when she smacks it in a lamp, breaks its wrist, and it fucking burns, I was like, that was a little too easy. She went off, rolled down the window. She went to her ex-boyfriend's.
I was down with that.
Yeah, I
ending.
was down with it. And then he smiled, and then I was like, of course. But then she opened the door, and she's back at the house. So this thing is kind of like a Pennywise, but like...
Yeah. Well,
way
kinda-
scarier Pennywise. It's
Like a
not a
demonic
Pennywise
one.
like, I'm scared of clowns, so I'm going to be a scary clown. It's more like...
you can't call it
You can't bully
a
it to
douchebag.
death. Yeah.
and then win.
So I didn't mind that. And then it got crazy with what'd you say, a Marilyn Manson?
Yeah, I think it was Marilyn Manson.
She had some great teeth for a monster. The teeth were
Yeah, the
great
teeth
for a
are
monster.
great.
But you know, it's the facial thing. It's the eyebrows and the smile. You're just like, damn, it really is that simple, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
there is
and
a
the
limit.
therapist, when she did it, she was like,
Yeah, you
She
could
was
see
the
her
worst
plastic
one, man.
surgery or something in her
something's
face.
going on.
Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah,
That was rough.
that poor woman. What they did to her in that movie.
So, I really hope that this movie just stays a one-off. I really don't want a whole fucking franchise going off of this and watering it down.
I think most horror movies should. I mean, some you could do sequels with, but I don't know. Most
I feel like it's
are
like
one-offs.
this movie feels like a Jordan, or what's his name, Jordan Peele kind of movie, where it's like it's its own thing. It does not need a sequel to make it, you know, better. It's good on its own, and it makes you think once you leave the theater. Love it or hate it, you are going to be thinking about it. But yeah, the horror jump scares were not very typical, but they scared the fuck out of me.
They did do
scared
the
hell out of me.
typical let's crank the volume up to 11.
Yeah, they did do that.
And in these short moments where it would build up and it'd freak you out for people who do have mental illness, they're trying to trigger it
Right.
in the audience. And some of it was just too much. I think at the beginning, after the beginning credits, it was like an alarm thing. It was like a
I
flashing
feel
red
like
light
it was
thing.
supposed to set you off.
It is,
It's like
yeah.
it's a neurological thing
Yeah.
where it's trying to make you uneasy.
That's just obnoxious.
It is annoying, and when you realize what it's doing, you
I get a little mad.
get angry.
Yeah, I get mad. Don't try to trigger me.
Right.
I'm triggered in another way.
And
Another
there's-
cliche that was happening in one scene where it was just like every little thing around the house was making it go, oh, goes over. And then the phone, ding, oh. Goes over to the phone. The guy, meow. Oh, oh. And then the boyfriend's just inside. What are you doing? Ah! Just fucking annoying. Every little thing that just scares you.
Yeah. No, but overall, I liked it. It was a good movie. It was different. Scared the hell out of me.
Very different.
Like I said, we don't like horror movies, so it didn't take a lot to go see this, just because I've heard great things, and I remember seeing the trailers, and they were like, oh, that's a creepy idea. Kind of like, you know, the Lights Out movie, where it's like, interesting. That's an interesting new way for a horror movie, is you turn off the light, she's there, you turn on the light, she's gone. In here, it's simpler. Just smile like a psychopath. So I thought it was a creative horror movie for sure. Now, what would you grade it?
An A.
Yeah, I'd give it an A. Just the weird things here and there that some people I found found annoying and
the noise is the only thing
pretentious. But other than that, I liked it.
But that little kid's gonna have some trauma too. So
yeah, that poor little kid pulling out that cat. Never have a cat again. All right. Well, that was our review for Smile. See you guys in the next one.